We are supposed to be, according to my book person, Lizeth, where are we supposed to be today?
We're starting on 401, page 218.
What section is that?
4.1.
No, we don't have any fours. We don't do fours. Oh yeah, we do. We do 4.1.
Yes.
And that's page. We got to start that. And what page is that?
218.
Very good. That's good. Now, what I want to do is go over the test and go over those problems. Yes.
Did you get me? Like, call
Naomi?
my name? Yes.
Let's see. Thought I did. Yeah, I do now. Are you still in the lifeguard business?
No, that ended this last weekend.
Now, I didn't get your test. Is that right?
No, I did send it. I sent it like yesterday, or the day before.
Something about it. Check it real quick. Yes. I did. Let me just share with you all about your tests. I have graded every one of them but a couple. Some people, your deadline was passed, but some people, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, Professor Whitman, what was the deadline? Wasn't it the 27th, that Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure because I know that you emailed us with the 26th, but then in the actual video you said it was the 27th. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't.
But the issue is I don't have some yet today.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. So I feel like I need to go over this thing with you guys, so that we can make some fixes here. And I'm going to do that, but the folks that didn't do it, they're not even here.
Dr. Whitman?
Yeah.
It's Selena Villafando. I got in through my phone.
I gotcha.
Okay. Thank you.
You're here. So believe it or not, I'm going to show you a test with your permission. Is that your permission? Is Lizeth out there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm looking at one other thing here. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the test, and let me tell you, it was the second best test I've had in 20-something years. The only difference in rating it was, and I can show you this. Is that right, Selena?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go over this exam with you guys. And there are some of you out there that may want to enhance your grades. And some of those folks aren't even here. Most everybody's here. But let me say this. If you got your grade and you looked on an eCanvas, and if your score was, I want to say, 85 or below. I'm going to go with 85 and below. You can enhance your grade. Now, you can enhance your grade a certain amount. I will let it go up to, so it doesn't affect other folks. I will let it go up to 92. So 92 would be the magic number. Now that's the max you can get. Here's what I'm going to do. If you have a wrong problem, and you'll be able to tell after the review, if you think you have it wrong, you can resubmit it all in one sheet using one file. I have had some of you all send me 7 different emails with 1 page on each one, and it's I can't accept that stuff anymore. It's just not good. I have had them sideways, upside down. I mean, you can't imagine what I got. It's just, I have some that I can't open. So anyway, I want you all to be aware that when you send me, it's what I get. If you look at it and it looks tough, then it's tough for me. All right. I guess you guys get the idea. Let's take a look here if we can get to what we need. Can you guys see my emails?
Yes.
Yes.
You can. You can see all that. You can all see this special stuff here. Let's see if it opens up. It's supposed to work. And once it opens, something about this one. Selena, it's not working.
I'll send it over again right now through the computer.
Well, I mean, I don't know why it's not working. Maybe it's working. All right, here it is. Okay, I'm sure that you all cannot see it. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Trying to make this work. I think I can. Can you see it now?
Yes. Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go. You can't? Pardon me?
Wow, looks so good.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding that everybody can see this. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the very first one. Determine whether it is an even or odd function. It's an even function if you put an x in there, in this case 1, or a negative x, and you get the same thing, and you do. You guys see how that works?
Yes.
Okay, number 2. You simply got to put the x and the y's in it. And you got a negative 1/2. Or negative 0.5. If you have your test, I would suggest you pull it out if you're in any of those categories, especially, or if you simply want to learn Otherwise, we might go a little faster. Sorry about that noise. Let's go to number 3. In number 3, you had to put in 27 for y because that's what y equals. Now, in order to get rid of the exponent, the fractional exponent on the right, you multiply by the reciprocal. But whatever you do to the right, you got to do the left. 27 to the 2/3 power means you take the cube root of 27, which is 3, and you square it, you get 9. And then you simply get x by itself. And it shows it. It's number 3. Numero quattro. Remember, I told you you could get help if you wanted for this test from anyone. Einstein, if he was available. I can tell you, based on looking at what I've seen, some of you didn't do that. Simplify this differential quotient. And f of x equals 2x squared. So first of all, if you look at the top, it says you have f of x plus h. That's your x. You plug it in. The first, it works left to right. So you have 2 times x plus h squared minus the f of x, which is 2x squared. The first line is what you got to understand. If you don't understand that, then life is no good. And then you multiply it out. You got to do the x plus h squared because it's in parentheses, and so on. You get 2 open parentheses, 2x plus h. Now, some people gave me 4x plus 2h. You didn't reduce it. The final answer should have been this. I think I might have taken a point off, maybe not. Number 5 is just understanding. They want you to create a function f and a function g. We said the function f is simply the 2 lines. The g would be whatever's inside it. And that's what she wrote. There's nothing else you can do. Again, if there's any questions, raise your hand. Inverse number 6, you just change y from x and x to y and get y by itself. 7, the domain. For the first one, you can be anything. For the second one, you cannot have 9. So it's shown on the right in yellow. Everything to the left counts, everything to the right counts with 9. Now, what people did not do on 8, it says graph in a solid line f of -1 and a dashed line for the same rectangular coordinate. So one of them's got to be dotted, the other one's got to be this. So the f of x equals x minus 1 in under the root. The problem itself, you put in your calculator. You write it just like it shows it, and it'll give you the dotted line. Boom. The inverse is the solid line. Same thing, but reversed. She created 2 tables. We know that if the x is the y and the y is the x, it switches. I mean, this is what I needed to see. We did this in class. We did this review. I know you're going to say, Dr. Wick, but this is hard stuff. It is. But again, you could have called Einstein. You could have called the Dallas Morning News to have the printer build this beautiful test like this. Also includes the domain and range. Center of a circle. This is a circle. You had to build it. You had to get the x and the y's by itself. You'd ended up with x minus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals quattro. They should, on the last line, they could have put equals 4 down here. which means you have 2, -4 as the center of the circle, 2, -4. And the radius of the square root of 4 is 2. Not everybody did well on this one. This one, most people did great. Center of the circle is easy, 3, 2. You can see it, square root of 9. 11. Solve by completing the square. Well, they put the 9 on the other side. If this was marked in step 1, you've got to take half of 3x, which is 3 over 2x, and square it, which gives you 9/4. The second line working vertically, you have x plus 3f squared, of course, plus 9 plus 9/4, because you got 9/4 on the left, you have to add it on the right. They convert this to an improper fraction. They take 9 times 4, which is 36 plus 9 is 45 over 4. You take the square root of the left, you get x plus 3 halves. Take the square root of the right, you get the square root of 45 over 2, because the square root of 4 is 2. You subtract 3 halves on both sides as shown. This is the mistake. People got almost all this, and then, but note that x is equal to a -3/4, because it's on the left-hand side. The square root of plus or minus is only the 45 and the 2. You see, when you take the square root of the left and you get x plus 3 halves, on the right you get the square root of 45 over 2, and that's plus or minus there. Up higher, she could have put that right there. And then you put -3 halves. So it's pretty good. 12. Again, if anybody has any questions, 12, the person multiplied the right-hand side out first. You get 4x squared plus 5x minus 9. Then they set it equal to 0. They got 4x squared plus 12x minus 16. They factored it to x minus 4, which gave them the minus 16, or excuse me, x minus 1 and x plus 4. I think that's right. They factored out the 4 first. Then x squared plus 3x minus 4. And they factored out the x minus 1, x plus 4, gives you 1 and -4. How do you get 1 and -4? The factors for x minus 1 that make it 0 is 1. She's kind of inverted here. The 1 could be on the left, but it doesn't matter. That's 12. Solve the equation by making appropriate substitutions. Well, this is too hard, so you got to make it u squared. So this becomes u squared minus 7u plus 10 equals 0. So you're going to factor it. U minus 5 and u minus 2. A lot of you got this. And you ended up with u minus 5 equals 0, u minus 2 equals 0. And then you said u equals 5, u equals 2, but u is not u. This is where people ended up. U equals 5 and u equals 2, but it's not. U is really x minus 5. So you got to set 5 equals x minus 5, so x then equals 10. On the other side, u is not u is again x minus 5. So 2, which you got here on the left, is equal to x minus 5. Add 5 to both sides, so x equals 7. This is a perfect way to do this. Different colors, everything. (14) is done the same way. U is always a middle term. X to the 1/3 is a little smaller print. Trying to get it into space. Exact same as above. You end up with then u squared minus 7u plus 12. Factor u minus 4, u minus 3. U equals 4, u equals 3. But u is not u. U is x to the 1/3 power. So that means you got to multiply it by 3 over 1 in terms of an exponent. So it makes it 3. So 4 to the 3rd power becomes 64. 3 to the 3rd power becomes 27. Solve the equation by the square root property. First I would do here is divide everything by 2, which I did. You get x minus 2 equals 14. correction equals 7. Then they took the square of the left and take the square of the right. They're kind of missing a step here, but maybe it's understood. If you divide everything by 2, this becomes x minus 2 squared. Divide this by 2, you get 7. And then if you take the square to the left, you got to take the square to the right. And this is done right, the second last line, x minus 2 plus or minus square root of 7. You get x by itself, you add 2 to both sides, so the answer is 2 plus or minus square root of 7. This problem is solved by grouping. It's not shown clearly, but they put the x cubed plus 9. They rewrote it. I guess they're thinking grouping. Then they factored out the x squared on the left. You get x plus 9. If you have x plus 9 on the left, you have to have it on the right. To make it work out, they have to have a negative sign here, which means a negative 1. So you have x squared minus 1 and x plus 9. X minus 1 is actually 2 squares. So the x squared minus 1 becomes x plus 1 and x minus 1. Therefore, you get a negative 1, a 1, and a negative 9. 17, the box. Man, I cannot tell you how many people do not do this right. Look. Her first line is the telltale thing. It says here that you have 2 inches that are taken out of each corner. If that's true, you actually have 4. Because look, it's a 2 by 2. So the total volume is 162. So on this side, if you have 2 inches, can you guys see my arrow here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if you have 2 inches down this direction, and this is the same side, you also have 2 and 2 is 4. So this distance is x minus 4. And you have 2 of those for the square. Square is base times height. So x minus 4 and x minus 4. But the height is 2 inches. So x minus 4 times x minus 4 times 2 equals 162. Now, she did what she does is she divides everything by 2, which gives you x minus 4 times x minus 4 equals 81. The second line here. You multiply it out, you get this. You got to subtract 81 from both sides instead of equal to 0, so you get x squared minus 8x minus 65 equals 0. You got to factor this using FOIL, which is a minus 5 and a 13. Why? Let's see. This is the only error she had. This should be x plus 5 and x minus 13. Making the answer 13 and a negative 5 extraneous. Her answer was correct, but her work was incorrect. This should be x plus 5 parentheses times x minus 13. But her work was right except for that part of there. And the 5 part is extraneous, but it would have been a negative 5. I hope you all understand that. 18, that's the tough problem. That's worked out the hard way. You can take a picture. Some people didn't even try it. What made me upset is if you didn't even try it, that means you didn't even get help. I mean, if I'm giving you the opportunity to do this as a group, I knew it was tough. But I'd expect people to at least try and help each other. Some people wrote, Dr. Wickman, 2 weeks wasn't enough time. I didn't have enough time to do 18. Or, other excuses. Had to go to the hospital. Was afraid I got the COVID, maybe. I got every excuse you can imagine from students. I gave out 9 classes of tests. Not your class always, but others. But But I do know that some in this class didn't do some of these. And I know it's frustrating when you see a problem. He says, man, I don't have a clue, but man, I gave you, this is an open window, open door. You could call anybody except for me. You could call this person, say, hey, look, 18, give me some help. Boom, here's what I got, take a look. The answer is correct, x equals -2. 19. 19 is the easiest problem in the book. All you got to do is put 2 in for x. Again, I had people not even try 19. I mean, 2 squared is 4, 4 times 4.9. I mean, and if you didn't put m here, I took off. Because you're supposed to tell me dollars, meters, height, whatever it is. But 19, look, I mean, not to try this one to go because it has a formula. All you're doing is plugging 2 in for x. Now, to make it easier, I could have put t in there for time. Another one that people didn't do. Temperature. All you got to do is put in the number. 50 in for F. 50 minus 32. 18 times that. 10 degrees Celsius. And that's the test class. I wanted to go over it with you all because I felt it was important. I know I spent a lot of time on it, but here's again the deal. If you scored in any of those score categories that I talked about, if you want to up your test grade, send me an email message with all the corrections done nice and neatly. Not the entire test again. Say, Dr. Wick, I want to resubmit in your subject line 2, 3, and 5. See attachment, or here it is on paper, nice and neat, and I will help you get a better grade. I mean, I can do everything, but I can't do it for you. I don't even know if you're still out there listening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Or take advantage of that opportunity again. But some people won't. Dr. Wick, I'm happy with my 70. Okay. But I'm trying to get the highest score for this class. Don't be frustrated. I'm giving you every window possible. And what you don't want to do is miss the review for the final. It will be easier in a sense, but harder in a sense too. The review will be just perfect again. It'll cover almost everything. Exactly. So you don't want to miss the review. And that's what's happened on some of these scores. People didn't come to the review. They said, oh, I watched the video. Well, sometimes video doesn't give everything, I guess. All right. Any questions of me of this? If you scored an 85, you're good. Or if you want to increase 85, you can. If you scored an 86, I can't accept it. It's good enough. And I looked, there's nobody that's got an 86, so don't worry about that. So you're going to say, well, it's not fair for the 86 person. Let me assure you that the break was at 85. And then it went up into the 90s. So it affects nobody. 85 and below is where it needs to be to help people. Any questions of me, folks?
No, sir.
No.
Oh. Selena, you still out there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you see this paper here of yours?
Yeah.
You see where it says Selena Villapanando, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Can you put my name in there? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. You did great.
Thank you.
All righty. Might make those 2 corrections or so, and that I mentioned, or 3, and send me another revise. That'd be good if you want. Okay, back to our regular scheduled program. Let's see what we have here. I don't think we did the book yet. So we got to go to the book and get to that. I felt the review was important. That's why I did it. Because I don't want people to just have a test and say, geez, I got it wrong. I really never understood it. We never really went over it. I kind of got that feeling people wanted to go over it, so we did. We said we're on, you said 4.1 today?
Yes, sir. Page 218.
Okay, let's see if we can come up with that.
Dr. Wiggly, I don't remember going over inverse matrix and the Kramer rule. Determinants in the Kramer rule.
Yeah, we didn't. Let me just show you the determinant. Can I just do that with y'all? We don't need the book for that. We're good. But let me give you the determinant stuff. Okay. Let's stop here. We're there. Let's go there. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing it up. So let's say we have, no, we can't do this. We got to go to the page because I don't know. I know to make it make sense. Let's stop this. So back to our book. What page? That was on page. That was 10.4. Let's see if we can find. Does anybody know what page 10.4 is? Let's see. Let's see if I can find it here. 10 matrices. 10.4. See if I can get it to go to it. Determinants and Kramer's rule.
It's page 707.
711. Who said that?
Lizette. 707.
That's it, Lizette. Okay. This is a fun section. That's why we want to do it. This is not a hard section. Okay, so if I'm right, wait a second, one other thing. You guys can see it now, is that right?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, one other thing I have to be sure to do. Hold on. Let's see if Wabbit's working today. Let me try this. Boom. Go to. Okay, I'm all over the place here, but I'm there. Okay, so what we have here is figuring out a determinant. I'm going to go, let's see, this may be too big. We're going to go right to the page where determinants are. Kramer's rule is painful. I probably will teach Kramer's rule. Kramer's rule will take 30 minutes, 20 minutes to teach. Now, number one here is telling you how to do determinants in the old-fashioned way. We're going to use a calculator. We don't want to use this method, although it's easy to see here, but the problem is on the test, they don't give you an easy one. The problem on the test is they give you a really hard one, which the calculator can do for you in less than a minute, including loading it. So let's see if we can get to that. I got a lot of stuff open here. All right. Now, in identifying a matrix, there are rows and columns as we've talked about. This is row A1, position 1. Matrix A, row 1, position 1. Matrix A, row 1, position 2. I'm reading across row matrix A, row 1, position 3. That's how you read a matrix. They read them rows and then columns. We've had some matrix work here, right? In this class?
I didn't hear what you said.
Did we go to our calculator and show where matrices are?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we want to do. Let's see what they do here. Let's look at this matrix here. Let's put this in our calculator. It will do one more in terms of matrices. This is a matrix A. As you can see, it's a 3 by 3. It's -8, 0, and 6, 4, -6 and 7, -1, -3, and 5. So that's that one. So let's go to our calculator and see what that looks like. See if I can get it to go to that. See if I got my calculator working. Please be there. Oh, no, it's not. This one. There we go. Can you guys see my calculator?
Yes.
See, it's kind of weird how you're seeing it. You're seeing that. I don't know if I like that one. Let me get rid of that for a second. Let's see if I can do one other thing here. See if I can get this one. Okay, let's see, we're back in here again. Can you see that calculator now?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to go to matrices. So we need to go to second. Matrix is right here above the inverse. We are going to build a 3 by 3, so we got to go over to edit. We're going to hit enter. Now we're going to do a 3 by 3, so we got to put in 3, enter, 3, enter. The first number in the matrix is -8. It's -8. Enter. Then 0. Enter. 6. Enter. Then you check, make sure I have it right. Then 4. Enter. -6. Enter. 7. Enter. The next row is -1. Of course, enter number 3. Enter and 5. Now, this is our matrix and it's A. It's loaded, so we go second click. Now, we want the inverse. Now, the inverse of this matrix is that black button right below it. So what we want to do is simply go back to our matrix system, hit enter for A, because that's the one we want the inverse of, and hit the inverse button. Boom. It's lit red. And then hit enter, and you're going to get your matrix. It's a bus of decimals and fractions, and it doesn't look right to me at all. But we can do fractions. Let's do second, or math rather. Enter, enter. And there it is in fractional form, if that's right. Now, we might have done something wrong. Let's go back to our matrices, make sure we've entered them correctly. Second, we're going to go over to edit so we can see them and just check it out. We have 3 by 3 right. We have -8, 0, 6, 4, -6, 7, -1, -3, 5. If that's correct, then that matrix is correct, and that's the inverse. And probably they didn't want us to do that on that one, but we did it. Go back and see. No, they did not want us to do that, but we did it. They wanted the determinant. We found the inverse. What am I thinking? Yeah, we can find the determinant. Let's go back. Perfect. I'm sorry. Of course. We were finding the determinant. Duh. All right, so here we go back there to our calculator. That's the beauty. We got it already loaded. Now the determinant. Where is the determinant? Let's take a look. Let's go to second matrices. Going to go over to math. And look at determinant is right number 1. So what we could do is hit enter. Well, let's do this. Let's do second matrix first. Let's clear our board. So we're going to go over to our matrix systems, second matrix, over to math, hit determinant, enter. And now we're going to put in the matrix. That's our A matrix. That's all we got to do. So simple. I made it so hard. So go back to our matrix systems. There it is. Hit enter for A. So the determinant, we just hit the button. Our determinant's minus 36, and there it is. We found the inverse and we found the determinant. And that's why it's good to have it in there in case you make a mistake, it doesn't come out right. We didn't really make a mistake, we just found the wrong thing. You can save your matrix, which we did, and just have to press the other button. Took 30 seconds to fix that. Now let's see if that's right. Go back to where we were. Let's see if they get negative 36. And they did. Now, if you do it their way, it's not good. Now, let's skip Kramer's rule for a second. Let's see if we can find where. Keep going. Kramer's rule for 3x3. Let's see. I'll do 6 for us manually, but when I do 6, you guys are going to puke. But you got to do it on the test. Yeah, we got to go back and do 6. I'm going to do 6 here. Oh, come on. I don't think it's good the same page. Sometimes it does that when you go backwards. Let's see where we're at here. Of course it didn't. Does anybody recall what page that was on? 7 what?
710.
That was where that particular problem was?
I think so. Yes.
No. 711 was the chapter itself. So I'm going to say 716 maybe.
It was 707.
Was that the page?
Yeah, that's where it started at 707 and we stopped at 710.
Determinant?
I wrote down 710 for that problem, so I'm not
Yes,
sure.
no problem. You're right, Lisa.
Okay, could be. Still there. I wonder why I have 711 as the page for determinants. Probably right, though. Try it, 710.
Maybe that's where it gave us the answer.
I don't think so, but maybe. Maybe. Okay, it's not 710. Let's see if it's the next one. Are you guys still seeing the book or not? You're probably not seeing it, right?
We're
We
seeing
can.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see what I'm seeing? So page 712 looks like the answer. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you can see this, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so look. Okay, let's stop this, and I'm going to explain something here. Now, on the test, you've got to do Kramer's rule. Now, in calculating Kramer's rule, if you have an x, you got to take the x, whatever we do to calculate this. This is kind of a funny calculation, all over the determinant, and that will give you the x. Then you got the y, funny part of the y, all over the determinant, and that'll give you the y. And then you have, in this case, a z, the funny part of the z, all over the d to get the z. Okay, so as you can see, in each one of these, the determinant is the denominator. So once we find the determinant for the matrix, we have the critical part for the answer. The weird part's up here, and up here we got to calculate separately. And that will give us our x, our y, and our z. Now, if you understand algebra and math, you have known that I said we can calculate the x, y, and z without using the determinant by simply taking one matrix like this. We said 3x equals 12. If we take the inverse of this, multiply it by that, we get the answer of x equals 4. The same thing can be done for any matrix if it has a x, y, and z. You just multiply it by the reciprocal or the inverse of the matrix, and you then multiply the solution by that, you get the same thing. For example, if we have A and we want to get x, y, and z over here for the answer, we simply take A and multiply by the inverse, which gives us this multiplied by the inverse, which will then give us the answer for x, y, and z. Now, making it make sense. We're looking at this example 6. I want you to write down matrix A and matrix B. A will be the matrix of the equation components of example 6. So the first line will read 1, -3, 7. Does anybody help me out with the second line? What's the second line going to read?
1, 1, 1.
Yes. The third line?
1, -2.
2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the B matrix, which is our solution matrix, that solution matrix is a 3 by 1. It will be a 13. Then down below it is a 1, and below that is a 4. So we have two matrices. Now, the first thing is they calculate the determinant, the D. So what we're going to do is plug that into our calculator, just like they show here, 1, -3, 1, 1. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to clear that because we don't need it. We're going to go to our matrix, second matrix. We are going to use the A again, so we're going to edit it. We're going to enter. We're going to leave it as a 3 by 3. Now the first number in this is a 1, -3, and then 7. The next line is 1, 1, 1. The third line is 1, -2, 3. And that's our A matrix. We check it, it looks right, and do second quick. Now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to put in my B matrix. And you can do. So we're going to do second matrix. We're going to go over to edit. We're going to drop down B now because I have B. Hit enter. We want to make this a 3x1. So we have 3, enter, 1, enter. Just a second, I'm going to turn this thing down. All right, I'm back. I'm back. So the first number in our solution matrix, does anybody know what the first number is?
13.
Perfect. The next one. And then the next one. Now, what we are trying to do here is find the solution for the X, Y, and Z that solves all these. Now, let me show you this. Second book. Let's go back to the book for a second. Because I want this to make sense to you. X minus 3y plus 7z is a line. X plus y plus z is a line. The third one's a line. These are all lines. They're all lines. Now, what we're trying to determine is what three numbers will solve all three of these lines. And to do that, using matrix systems is much easier than doing it manually. Although I can still do it manually pretty easily. I like it sometimes. It's like a puzzle, but why make it hard on yourself? Now, without using Cramer's rule, we know this. Based on what I just told you. We can take the A matrix, multiply that by the inverse A matrix, and get the B matrix solution if we multiply it by the inverse. So this part here, we don't really do. But what we do is find the inverse of A and multiply it by B. We actually do this to get our answer, which will be our X, our Y, and our Z. It's simple. This is the simple thing. This is our solution right here. Now, when we use Cramer's rule, it's not the same thing. It's much more difficult. And you're going to say, well, why do we do it if we can just do this? Because all we're going to do is take our inverse of A and multiply it by B. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to this calculator. We're going to go to our inverse. We're going to first find A. We know the inverse button is this, so we're going to take our matrix, second matrix, hit A, boom, enter. We want the inverse of it, so we just hit that button, boom, and we multiply that by B. So we just go back up to our matrices, second matrix, slide down, hit B, boom, and hit enter. And there's your answer. -2.6, 2.4. -2.6, and then 2.4. In fractions, they did it in fractions. Enter, enter. Get -2, 3/5, and 12/5. Now I think we did it right. I'm pretty sure. We can check. Let's take a look and make sure what they have. And because if I missed a number, I think we did it right. If they came up here. Slide down. Yeah. So that's their solution. We just calculated the solution. Now, all we did was took A, entered it in. You saw us do that. Took the inverse of this A, multiplied it. Now we're going to do the same thing using Cramer's rule. Okay?
Yes.
Getting a lot of feedback here.
What the hell's going on the video?
Huh? Okay, so now here we go. Using Kramer's rule, we're going to create, and you should write this on a piece of paper, just this. We're going to create the determinant for the x, the determinant for the y, and the determinant for the z. So this is the number we're going to find first. That's going to be simple. So we go back to our calculator, boom, enter. We'll clear this out. We'll go to our matrices, second matrix. We're going to hit enter for A. Oh, correction. We're going to go over to determinant, enter for that, and then we're going to put our A in there. So second matrix and put A in there, boom, and hit enter. So we get -10. So if you wrote everything down like I said, those 3 lines, 10 is going to be underneath every one of those. One is going to be the X, one is going to be the Y, and one is going to be the Z. Now, again, just to help you, this is how I would do it. I would write it like this. I'd write X up here, and then 10 here. Y here, and 10 here. Z here, and then 10 here. Because we're going to get a number for here, going to get a number for here, and a number for here. And that's going to give us our Z here, Y here, and X here. Now, how do you do this? So the Z, so we're using Kramer's rule. So the next part is this. The D of X matrix is just like the one that you had originally, except for where all the X's are, you put the solution in there. So our D of X matrix is shown there in the red right here where it says D of X. Instead of having the 1, 1, 1, -3, you have in that position, you have the 13, 1, and 4. So we're going to create our B matrix. This is going to be our B matrix. It's the same as what we did, except for in the X position, 13, 1, and 4. So we're going to stop this. Going to go to our online to our calculator. Okay. There it is. Clear that. We're going to go to second matrix. We're going to go over and edit a B. We'll make it C because it's going to be another 3 by 3. So just label this as your C. Your C matrix. Enter, enter. It's going to start out with 13. Then you're going to read across -3, and then 7. The next line is going to be your solution again, 1, followed by another 1. That works out pretty good for that one. And then 1 again. The third line is going to start out with 4, pro, -2, and 3. The new second quit. Now, we're going to find the determinant of C. That number is the number that's going to go over on top of your 10. So we're going to go to second matrix. We're going to go down to C. Oh, correction. We've got to go over to the determinant first. Enter. Now we're going to go to second matrix again. Go down to C. hit enter, and then hit enter again. And that's 20. And that number is going to be now 20 over 10, which, as you know, is supposed to equal 2, and that was supposed to be a negative 2. I think it was a negative 2, or was it 2? Let's go second quick. Let's see, what was our first number 10 or negative 10? Anybody know?
Negative 10.
Was it negative 10?
Yes.
Okay, so that gives you a negative 2. So what did we do wrong here? 20, yeah, 20 over negative 10 gives you a negative 2, so that's good. Now we're going to do the next matrix for our y. Our y one. So we were looking for a number that goes for our y. So we know our x is equal to a negative 2. We're looking for now 0.6 or 3/5. So we got to build that matrix. Again, let's remind ourselves. Let's go back to where that shows. There it is. So the D of Y matrix. Everything stays the same as in the original matrix. I'm going to make it look a tiny bit so you can see that. So the 1s stay this time, but the second line is where the solution goes this time because it's the Y. So wherever the Y was, you're going to put 13, 1, and 4. So we're going to do that. So we're going to stop this. Go back to our calculator. Clear this one. And we're going to make this our D matrix. We're going to hit second matrix. We got to build the matrix first. We're going to go down and make it a D. It's going to be a 3 by 3, so we're going to hit enter. Got to change it. 3, enter. Get another 3, enter. And our first number we said was going to be 1. The second number is going to be 13. So that's our solution for the Y. And the last one number is going to be a 7. The next line is going to start again with our 1. And then we got to, instead of 1 being in the second position, we have 1 again. Oops. 1 again. Enter. And in the third position is still another 1. Didn't change. The last line has, of course, this 1 in there again. But where the negative 2 is, we put 4. And we put back in our 3. So that's finished. We're going to say second quit. We're going to do second matrices again. We're going to find the determinant of that one. And this one time we're going to put in our D matrix. We just got through building. Hit enter. And hit enter again. And we get negative 6. And a negative 6 over 10 gives us the exact number that we needed. A positive 3/5, because a negative is a positive. The only one we got to do is the last one. So again, let's stop here. Let's take a review again. Make sure it's straight in our heads. We're going to go to a book again. We're going to look at the Z solution. Notice our solution matrix 13, 1, and 4 goes wherever the Z was. So you have 1, negative 3, 13, 1, 1, 1, 1, negative 2, 4. That's what we're going to load. And we should get negative 24, and negative 24 over 10 should give us a positive 12 over 5. So that's what we're looking for. So let's do that real quick. Again, this is the hard thing to do on the test. But every step here counts as points. You know how to do it easily. All you got to do is put the A matrix in, hit the inverse, and multiply by B. But this is a long way, and they want us to do it. So we'll do it. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go to our calculator for the last time, I believe, or close. Go to our matrix on our calculators again. We're going to build it. Clear this one out. We're going to go second matrix. This one will probably be our E matrix. Again, we're going to edit it. We got to go down to E. There's something in E. That's good. It's a 3 by 3. And that's good. 3 by 3. Our first number for our matrix is a 1. Next is negative 3. And then our solution, what number goes, let's see here, maybe. What number goes there? Does anybody know?
13.
Exactly. Next line starts out again with 1. That's easy enough. And another 1. And then another 1. That was our solution matrix. The last line starts out with a 1 again. Negative 2. I'm stumped. What is the last number here?
4.
We got it entered. Second quick. Now, we want to find the determinant for that, so we can put it over in negative 10. We're going to go second matrix. Going to go over to the calculation. Go over. Hit enter. We're going to put in what matrix this time? Does anybody remember? E?
E.
Yes, E.
That's number 5. And hit enter. You get a negative 24. Amen, just like we thought. Negative is positive, comes out to 12/5. You have just found the solution using Kramer rule. I told you it'd take at least 20 minutes. It's painful, but that's it, step by step. That was that. Now, we covered matrices and systems. We are really behind. Now we're supposed to go to what? 4.1, which is page 218, right? Just want to introduce this.
Yes.
We're past our time. I realize it. We covered some stuff. We also did the review. I know it. Just let me just show you a little bit of this. And because it's only an introduction to polynomials and their functions. So we'll be leaving off at 4.2, hopefully. I think my book person will remember that.
Yes.
Is that? Okay. I mean, this is hard stuff. Algebra is not easy. All right, 4.1.
It's not clear.
You got it now? You guys good?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, we're dealing with polynomials. Polynomials are numbers other than just 1, 2, and 3, or an x, y, or z. So 5x squared involves more complicated things. It's polynomial. Polynomials can be connected by negative and plus signs. It's just introduction, don't really need to know that, but you should. It's important to know that. Now, $19. Well, come on. Come on, book. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Trying to log in. Okay, so look,
Very little
this
money.
is on the test. You're going to have something like
Not clear.
still what?
It's not clear.
It's not clear.
Better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is an important problem. You have 2x cubed plus 8x squared minus 17x minus 3. They break it down. The degree of this polynomial is 3 because it's the highest exponent connected. Now, the degree of the polynomial, when you have plus and minus signs, is the highest number. When it's multiplied, it's cumulative. That would mean if these were all multiplied together, look at the first line where it says terms. If those were all multiplied, the degree would be 3 plus 2 plus 1, which would be 6. Now, so the degree of the polynomial is 3 because it's 3. The leading terms are 2. The leading coefficient is 2. And the constant term at the very end is negative 3. On the test, it's done better than this even. This is the second term. 6x squared plus 8x squared. So you got a whole bunch of stuff here. The leading term is the 24x squared z4. Now, the degree of this, and again, I would never teach it like this, but the degree of this is that you have the 1 on top of the x, the 2 on top of the y, we're talking about where the 24 is, and the z, which gives you a 7. So this is the term, they call it the leading term because it's supposed to be out front. The coefficient that goes in front of it is negative 24, and the constant term at the end is 3. Well, I don't know why it's taking so long. This is just crazy. Just can't take this long. Okay, so now, example 3. If you look at example 3, the leading
It's not clear.
okay, something's not right then. Yeah, I can see it's not clear now for sure. Go back. Boy, that's horrible blurry, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's
you
better.
can see 3 now. If you look at the middle term, thank you, you have x squared. That should come first. So the leading coefficient of this is what? It's 1. The degree is 2. The constant at the end is 12. Example 4. The degree of this polynomial happens to be a 4. Close, because look at 3x q1 is also a 4. And so on. Now, this is simply a problem where you plug in a number here. This is the amount of blood and injection for a horse that needs some medicine. And it tells you that over time, like any other medicine, it starts to fade, that it starts to dilute. And this is the program. So C of t, this equation at the very end, the degree is 4. You can do this calculation, but you got to know what the t stands for. And usually it's maybe in hours or minutes. Let's see what the next page says. It says hours. And of course, it's still going to take time. I don't know why. Maybe everyone in the world's on it. And it's going to come out blurry. But this is where we got to make our point. And within this century, this thing will come on. I'm sorry. I appreciate your all's patience. I have no control over this. Okay, so they put C of 2. So they put, if you look in, yeah, I knew. I even told myself it wasn't going to be that. So. You guys good?
No, I can't see the.
Anybody?
No.
No,
Can't see it? Nobody?
No.
You're
You
breaking
can't-
up.
You can't see this at all?
No.
Wow. We're breaking.
We can see it now.
Can anybody see it now? You can?
Yes.
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 Okay. So we'll make this the last problem. Look, all's and this was kind of be on your tests. So they want to know in 2 hours how much of this medicine is going to be in this animal's body. And if you look at the graph, it gives you the solution. It's going to be 2.344. And that's where it is. It's a little bit up there. Now, after, let's say, 6 hours, if you look at the graph of 6.5 hours, the amount of this medicine in this animal starts to wane. That means it's less. And it goes down, and by the end of the 9th hour, it's almost gone. So that means, if you look at this, if we put in a number, put in 16, I don't know what it is. That's 2. Let's go down here for a different number. 4, that gets you there. But they don't give it. If we put in if you put in the number 10, I guarantee you it's going to be a negative number. It's going to fall below. But all it is in reading this is notice that you have C of T. T stands for time. And your problem, when they ask you to calculate something like this, you just put two in for that, just like the easy problem you had on your exam. Okay, look, thank you for your patience. I'm going to let you guys have some peace of mind. Hopefully, you got something out of tonight's class. That was it. We'll start at multiplication of polynomials. I'll try to go better and smoother on Monday. Jeez, we're so far behind. So 4.2. Let's see what else I can look at here. We got to cover some of this stuff. So 4.2 is where we have to start. Does that remind me? 4.2?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And
I'll write it down.
That's October what? Fifth. All right. Any other questions of me?
Yes, Dr. Whitman, this is Alicia. Were you gonna send us back what we got wrong on the test, or no? what we,
If you had one of those and you weren't sure, I can certainly tell you exact.
well, I don't know. I think the graphing, I don't know if it was a little bit
But
too much. He
if you
do
don't,
some
if you,
extra steps.
okay, Alicia, if you don't know, just call me and I'll give it exactly.
Okay.